Hey everyone, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. It feels like forever since I have done a card tutorial for you guys, but I am back today to do one. I wanted to do this little card here featuring this Sunny Studio stamp set. I absolutely love these coffee cups and I was anxious to ink it up and get started making a card with it. So I've already started with my image here, and I did put this on my mini Misty simply because I'm using some watercolor paper today and I wanted to make sure that I was going to get a good deep impression. And I am using the smoother side of the cardstock, but I still wanted to make sure I got a good crisp impression of these coffee cups. So I am inking it up with my MFT black hybrid ink here. And I'm just placing them exactly where I want them before I stamp them down. And I am going to eventually mask these off here. But also obviously you want to do things, and if you stamp things like this in threes or in odd numbered images. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp down my third image here. Make sure I go ahead and clean off my stamp. And then I'm going to take my panel out and I'm going to create some masks. I recently showed in a haul these Post-its here, and I have seen these all over. I say all over. A few crafters use these. These are the full adhesive Post-its, and I thought I would give these a try for masking. I do have some Inkadink masking paper, but I thought I would give these just for something different. You give these a try just for something different. So I'm taking 3 of the Post-its here because I'm going to make 3 masks, and I'm just going to cut around this really quickly. And if y'all been watching my videos for a little bit now, you know that I really don't like to fussy cut all that much. And it's simply because I don't feel like I do it in a quickly manner. I really have to take my time, and I did speed up the video just a little bit. So this is not me in regular time cutting this out. So, but that's why I love getting the coordinating dies with a lot of my stamp sets if possible. So, but for this was a relatively easy image to cut out, and I didn't really have a problem with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue to cut this out, and it will create, like I said in the beginning, 3 masks. And I'm going to put all 3 of the masks onto my panel here, and I'm going to cover up these coffee cups because I'm going to be doing some ink blending to create a little bit of a background. I didn't want to leave the background just stark white. So I'm placing all of these masks onto my cup, and I'm going to get my little distress ink blending tool out, as well as some distress ink. I believe I used Broken China or Tumble Glass I believe it was. And so I'm going to get that out, and like I said, I'm going to do some ink blending here. And I love this look of images like this, and then creating a background, just like a little soft background like this. It's really, really fun, and it's really, really popular, I think, right now. It's just something different other than just a stark white background, as well as pattern paper. So you can do obviously a lot with distress inks. This is very, very simple ink blending. Nothing, obviously you're not doing any ink blending with more than one color. I'm just using this obviously just to create this background. And eventually I would like to get the, what are they called? Those stencil brushes. Clarity, is it called Clarity? So if y'all have them, and if any of y'all watch my videos and if you've used the Clarity brushes, please leave me a comment below on how you like them. I've been debating on whether or not to get them. I think they're a little bit of an investment because they, even though you do get, I think it's 3 brushes in a pack, they are a little bit of an investment. So, so if you do like them, let me know below in the comments. I'd appreciate hearing from you on that. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to get my ink blending down, and then I'm going to take my little distress sprayer here, and I'm going to create some little droplets, because you can't get the full effect of distress inks if you don't use the water, right? So I love doing this. This is one of the more fun things to do with distress ink, because obviously the properties and what they entail on doing this. It really does show off the properties when you do this, add the water, because it wicks it away and stuff. So this is really, really fun. So now I have finished my background, and I'm going to go ahead and take off my masks. And it's just like, I always get tickled with Christina Werner. She's saying this, that it's always like Christmas morning whenever you reveal the masked image underneath. And she's right. It is so fun. It never gets old as long as you craft and make things. To me, this technique is so much fun to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some really fun patterns to the sleeves of my cup. And I have been doing this a little bit. I've brought back the paper piecing thing here lately within the last few cards that I have made. And so I wanted to do this today in this video. And it just lends itself to these cups to do this as well, to add some really fun patterns. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these patterns out and do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere those to my panel here. Before I do that though, I'm going to take my marker. This is my Memento Tuxedo Black marker. And even though these are relatively easy to cut out, it's really nice to go ahead and take your marker and edge them along the edges like this to create that black solid border around it. For one, it makes it look like you really did do a perfect job in cutting it out. And two, it just finishes it off. It makes it more of a clean imaged cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I've already adhered them to my panel. I'm going to take two markers here, my I believe it's W2 and W3 warm gray markers, Copic markers. And I'm going to go ahead and I speeded this up about 3 times here. Just so, because it is just basic coloring, and it's basically the same thing that I'm doing. I'm not doing anything fancy here. So I wanted to speed this up, but I did want to leave all of the coloring in here so you could see it. But I'm going to create, I didn't want to leave my cups stark white, so that's why I went with the warm grays here. And I'm just creating some shadows where I think would be a good place for those shadows to be. And then, and also whenever you do paper piece, it is a good thing to do this, even if you don't want to, obviously if you're not coloring the entire image like I am doing here today. If you take like a warm marker or like a gray marker and go around the image between the paper that you adhered, the pattern paper you adhered, and the image itself, a stamped image itself, it kind of grounds it in a way. It doesn't look like it's just kind of floating there. So that's what I think I got this tip from Amy R. She's an amazing card maker, as y'all probably know. A lot of y'all probably follow her as I do. And I've picked up a lot of good tips from her as far as doing this technique when the paper piecing and coloring and such. So, and she's right. It makes it more grounded, and it just kind of completes the whole entire image. So I'm going to continue to do this. And right here, I couldn't, I thought I was getting the darker marker at first, and then I wasn't, and then I realized that, okay, I was right the first time, so I was back and forth there. But anyway, so I've completed my coloring here, and what I'm going to do also is take my lightest gray marker. I believe this is my C1 marker, and I'm going to give some little shadows to my coffee top here, the little top of the coffee mug, or the coffee cup. And I'm going to create shadows with it as well. But again, because I didn't want to leave it stark white, even though I wanted my lids to be white, I wanted the appearance that there's some shadows as well on the lids as well. And just tie everything together. So it's very, very faint. That's why I chose the lightest gray marker. But it does give it a little something to where it's just not just plain. So I finished that off, and then off camera I went ahead and took my little scallop border here. This is a die from Lawn Fawn, and I cut down some scraps of paper that I had in my stash, and I wanted to give it, these cups, a little bit of a ground, if you will, to sit, or whatever you want to say. I didn't want to leave them just like they were, because it looks like the cups are just floating. So I wanted to add a little bit of a more decorative bottom edge to my card design here. So that's why I took this, and I thought these colors of cardstock ties in with the pattern papers that I have chosen. So I'm going to go ahead and offset these 2 patterns here, or these 2 pieces of cardstock. I like doing this with this scallop edge. I like to offset them just to give it a little bit of something different, and not just stack them one on top of each other. I like to do this look just to give it something different. So I'm going to add some Tamamano to the back of that, and then add that to the bottom of my card here. And then once I get this adhered, I'm going to take my frame die. This frame die comes from the Right at Home shop, and I like this frame die because the way it was designed, the stitches are really, really deep. You can see how well it the stitches show up there. And I ran that back through my design of my panel here to give that stitched edge all the way around. So we are almost at the end of my card here. I'm going to add my sentiment. This comes from the same stamp set, Wishing You a Cup of Cheer. And I wanted to put this in my Misty again, like I said in the beginning of the video, because it is watercolor cardstock, to give that really black, crisp sentiment. So I've gone ahead and done that. And now what I'm going to do is add just a little bit of finishing touch. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card base, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my Wink of Stella shimmer pen and add some shimmer to the middle of the cup there. I like adding shimmer to my pattern papers also because it just brings it out that much more, and it gives it a little bit of something extra to look at. And of course the shimmer is so beautiful whenever you see that in the light. So once I get this done here, I am going to slow this down here. Once I get this all adhered onto my pieces of pattern paper here, I'm going to slow it down just a little bit in real time so you can see all the shimmer. I really love this Wink of Stella, as well as the other one from Spectrum Noir. Both of them are relatively good pens. So, but you can see how all that shimmer just shimmers and shines. I love it. It's so really beautiful. I just love this. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and tutorial. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will catch y'all in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.